Stamp and Eat, and welcome to another Friday card making session with me. It's really great to have you back with me. I hope you've all had a fantastic week. Now this week on my to-do list were 2 birthday cards. We have twin sons and their birthday is at the end of January, literally the end of January. And as you can figure out, they are twins. I said that already, haven't I? So I always like to come up with card ideas that are unique and sort of describe who they are. And for this one, excuse me, this one, I was really inspired to make this tunnel card. And I saw this demonstrated by Susan Campfield, and she did one with a whole lot of different colors. And I thought, well, I'm going to show you He's the Man and make that for my other son. But of course I needed a sample for the video. So this is for my one son. He enjoys his whiskey. He also enjoys his gaming. I don't have anything that looks like whiskey, but I figured that would be just as good. So I'm going to demonstrate and show you exactly how we make this card. And it does stand up, so that's quite cool. And you can make it in a combination of different colors. So this paper that I used here is old retired paper. I think it was called Handsomely Sweeted from the last annual catalog. But I do keep some of my old retired papers for my own personal use. Right, so I'm going to put all the measurements on the edited version, so you should see them as we go along. But you are going to need a piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored on the long side at 4 1/4, 5 1/4, 9 1/2, and 10 1/2. And it's a box card. We're going to be making a box, as you can see from the sample that I have given you. So I'm just going to score all of these lines, and for this one I'm using early espresso. Now this part where you've got, oh, it's really dark, so this is going to be tricky to show you, but this part where you've got the fold, this is going to become the front of your card, because eventually it's going to look like this when we put it together. Okay, so this edge over here needs to come to our right hand side, and then you're going to need 2 matching pieces of cardstock, and they are each 4 1/4 by 5 and scored at 4 5/8 on both sides. And what we're doing here is we're creating the hinge that fits in there. Okay, so they need to match up like that. So I'm just going to get the burnishing done, and then I'm going to demonstrate to you how we get those layers made. And I must say, I think I had 2 goes at this because I thought I would just make the card paper. If you're making this in New Zealand, your cardstock is narrower than the Americans. These measurements I'm giving are actually suitable for the American papers. And then you're going to need 3 coordinating pieces of designer series paper, 4 by 4 inch squares. So we start on the first piece. So figure out, that's why I've put mine in this order, because I want these papers to go exactly in that order. So we'll start with that. The other things that you'll need are layering circles, and I'm using mine from the layering circle die. You're also going to need a bit of white cardstock for scrap. So on the reverse side, just add a little bit of glue on the 4 corners. You don't want to add glue all over the base, because you're going to glue it and we're going to die cut it. So I'm just going to do that for all 4 my pieces of designer series paper. I found this was the quickest way to do it. And you're just eyeballing more or less in the you're getting a nice margin around the end. And then this is going to be the last one. All right. So I'm going to set this one and this layer aside for this part of the card video, so I can bring in my cut and emboss machine. So we're going to use the big one. I'm just going to move this out the way. We're going to use the big one, and we're going to use plate 1 at the bottom, plate 2 on top of it, plate 3, and then you'll need another plate 3, and then you're going to place, I'll just bring this into the light, you're going to place your largest circle on your designer series paper, and I would suggest you use a post-it note, and again you're just looking where it fits in the equally on the designer series paper. Stick that down, put your plate on top, your 3 plate on top to create a nice sandwich, and we're just going to roll that through. Okay, now you're going to remove the sticky post-it note, and you're going to pop these. You're going to have 2 layers. You can set them to the side. We're not going to use them. Now let me just move this out the way, and I'm just going to come back because I need to show you what we're doing next. Take your second layer and you're going to place it behind the card, making sure that your corners and everything is level. It's really important that this bit be done properly. So now you can see through the center. You're taking the second smallest die, so it's not the one that's directly below this one, it's the second smallest die. Place that equally where you think it is. Hold on, let me just tear this post-it note, and now we just have to go from the beginning again. So we're matching up the tops, making sure that's nice and level. Die in the center. Post-it note, and again, like I said on my previous videos, I have been finding with all the weather we've been having that the post-it notes are definitely working better than the washi tape. Alright, now I'm going to run this one through my cut and emboss machine. I'll just bring that back into the video. And we're using those same layers, 1, 2, 3, 3. Roll that through. Okay, and I'm going to just set that side to the side again. Now I'm releasing this. I don't need those. I'll use them in a different project. And now we're taking the last layer and just making sure that they are exact. And I'm bringing the second smallest one from that layer, doing exactly the same, setting that to the side. It's a little bit of tedious backwards and forwardsing with your cut and emboss machine for this card, but it's worth it. It's really worth it for the end result. And so we're just going to go back, and as you can see with the cut and emboss machine, you can use it going left or right. It's designed for lefties and right-handed people. So there's the scrap. We're going to do one last bit of die cutting while we're here. Oh, no, actually we won't. I'm just setting it to the side for now. And then we will do some bit of die cutting, but not right now. Okay, so we've got our 3 layers. And we need to position this one. So this is going to come over here. All right, so this is where the box is going to start. So we will land up gluing it there, but we need to figure out a stamp that's going to be big enough. If you look inside this original one, I had a sentiment. So I just went through to my different sentiments that I had, and I thought this one was a bit cheeky. So I saw, yep, that works. So you just need to get some white cardstock, and we're just going to ink that up. So I'm using Early Espresso to match my cardstock, and I'm just going to ink it. It's a cling stamp, so that will be a nice easy stamp. And then put your ink pad away and just make sure you clean your stamp pad, stamp it straight away so that there are no risks of inky fingers. Now, using the same die, because that fits into there, we are going, that's why I said we're going to die cut one more thing. And I'll just get my post-it notes, and we'll just run that through the die cut machine for the last time. And then I promise we are finished with all our die cutting for this project, and then it's just a question of gluing it together. And I will show you at the end what happened when I didn't glue it on the correct panels, just so that you can see that, you know, even those of us that have been doing this for a while, we also constantly make boo-boos. And I think it's good to see that. All right, let's take that away. All right, so we've got our message, nothing fancy, just love. Well, obviously, we're going to be giving them a little bit more than just love for their gift. So I want to just place this down here, and I'm going to, just need to make sure, no, I did it wrong again. So that's going to land up. So you've got your flap, just bring your flap straight there with that fold and match it up. And then this is going to go inside. And I'm just using a dimensional for that. So we just pop a dimensional on the back. It's a pretty straightforward card to make, actually. Alright, so that's going to go in the middle. And now we're going to start with the glue. So you will need to use liquid adhesive glue for this, and only on one side, and it's on the left hand side, but it doesn't really have to be the left. You can turn it around, of course, which you if you glue it on the wrong side, you're going to take the score line that is here, and you're going to match it up with this first score line, and then flatten that down, and then turn it over like so. All right, like that. Okay, so you've got that one, and then this one is going to come over here. Like that. So we're going to glue one side. Now this one is directional. My paper is directional, so it does matter which side you're gluing. So we need to glue this side. Just want to make sure I've got my things right. If you aren't using a directional paper, it doesn't actually matter. But this one is going to go, hopefully I've got this right, because I have made this mistake. I think so. Let's just check. So I just want to show you, I have in fact done exactly what I did not want to do. So what I'm going to show you, even though I'm making a boo-boo, it needs to be on the very first score line of that box, okay? So that it comes, because what you're aiming is this end needs to be the same as this card end. And this one needs to come, and we're going to butt it up. So instead of redoing this video, I'm actually showing you this one needs to come and butt up over here. And when it comes over, you've got different lengths. You've got this one's shorter and that one's longer, and that is exactly what we want. So when it comes over like this, they all going to connect. So now we're going to glue just the first layer. Just put your glue. Come on, you are full. Glue there and glue over there. And now, let me just come into the camera for this part. Okay, so we've got these guys all lined up. We're just going to bring this over like that. So you've got this flap that's loose, which is correct, because that's going to go to the back. And if we've done it correctly, then let's just glue it, just put it down a little bit. That one's just spitting the dummy out. And they've moved, so let's just hold that down a little bit more. So just hold it down firmly, because you've got 1, 2, 3 layers of cardstock that are all needing to adhere. There we go. Now we can put some glue on this last bit and tuck that in. And I usually just find when I work with these sort of things, just to bring it in like that, and just to hold it with my thumb and my pointer finger, so I'm getting a nice even distribution there. Okay, so it's on the second score line, not the first, for that first piece. And now, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Plus, it lies down flat. So, all that we're left now to do is just add a sentiment. And in the bundle that I used these papers, and I'll go and grab the annual catalogs that I can show you, they've got all these die cuts. So, I thought, what am I going to go? Hope your day is a grand adventure, or hooray. Or even like that. Does that look right? Hope your day is a grand adventure. I'm going to go on the side. So when I'm going on the side, what I'm going to do here, I think, no, I'm going to glue it. I'm just going to glue it a little bit over here and a little bit over here. And I'm going to pop that there. Just like that. Now, because this is a blogs card, I'm not going to get too fancy with bling, but the last thing we can do is I've got a piece of cardstock 4x4, and on this one you can put glue on the whole back. Turn your card over and you can then write your message. So perhaps write your message first, or else you can just flatten the card, because it does flatten nicely. So there you have a fun tunnel card inspired by Susan Campfield, and I've done that in 2 different colors and 2 different looks. So my one son is very outdoorsy, he loves the outdoors. Other son, like I said, is more into his IT and enjoys a good whiskey. So both of them suit them perfectly. For other ideas and inspiration, do feel free to go and visit my blog site. And I'd encourage you to click on the link below in the description box for coming on board and signing up for my free newsletters that come out once a month. And there are always ideas in there, tips and techniques, and other card inspiration. So thank you so much for stamping with me today, and I hope that this has inspired you. Oh, I wanted to show you before I go, this was my boo-boo. But you know what? I still love how those crescents have happened. But don't ask me how I did that. So there we go. I just wanted to show you that before I sign out for today. And remember, until we meet again, stamp, eat, sleep, repeat.